glasses back. It's so bright out here that I actually have different sets of sunglasses kind of scattered around the house and everything else. But I hope you all are doing well. Yeah, I have to put my flag back up. But anyway, good morning, everybody. Oops, there we go. I need in order to go somewhere. How do you like those apples? Anyway, wanted to go. Okay, by the way, that was my fault if I dropped out just now. I was pulling away from the house Wi-Fi, and I just kind of, it transitioned to the cell phone, mobile Wi-Fi, and everything freaked out. Hey, good morning. Hey, Nunya. So, Austin, Texas, my daughter lives outside the city, so I reached out to her. She's been monitoring local news because she does live kind of out in the country at the moment. She did say that the Austin fire is about 30% contained, and she said the fire helicopters and planes are out now. It's gotten that bad. They've evacuated houses in another area, and they're trying to address the problem. There's a lot of smoke and all that. One thing she did note, she said they haven't proven it's anything evil, like, you know, some kind of arson, but she said they ran all those homeless camps that used to, during Rona and during all this election stupidity, they were all in Austin, and they ran them out. Oh, hey, Loretta, what's going on? And anyone I missed, sorry, I'm getting glare off the camera, so I can't really, off the phone, so I can't exactly see what's going on. The homeless then went into the country, right? And so they're in parks and wooded areas all over that part of Texas. So she said it very well, it could be arson, it could be something evil, it could have been a natural event. She said, honestly, she's thinking it might be one of the homeless camps. Hey, Cold War, they were maybe somebody cooking with propane or making meth, whatever the hell they're doing out in the woods, and they set the grass on fire, and then it took off. Hey, Virginia, good morning. How are you today, brother? So right now it's 30% contained. That was as of yesterday afternoon. They may have made some headway. We wound up getting a little bit overcast in Texas. Hey, Coffee First, good morning. Got a little overcast in Texas yesterday, at least in my part. I'm assuming Austin also got overcast. I know Cold War lives in the central Texas general area. You might be able to comment more. But I don't know if they've made progress in defeating the fire. But it is been activated, or extra engine companies have been activated, so it's now a 4-alarm fire. When we all saw it yesterday, it was like a 2-alarm. It's 4. They've got 4 station houses out there. They've got DPS. They've got state responders. They've borrowed some woodland firefighters from other parts. Hey, Grateful Preps. We had rain-type clouds, just enough to reduce solar production, not enough to produce rain. Yeah. And it might have, hey, Mama Red, Cold War may have been enough to at least give a reprieve from the heat. Maybe the firefighters were able to make some progress. So again, as of last night, and that's from my family member there, it was 35%, 30 to 40% contained, depending on who you asked or what report you saw. But they are, oh, this guy took a wide turn with that trailer. They're still struggling a bit with getting that under control. So I'm in San Antonio visiting family, and so, whoa, shoot, I just got the sun in my eyes there. So hot, it is so hot, it could not have been this hot when I lived here. Yeah, it's extremely crazy hot. This is hot. The last summer we had this hot was like in 1934 or something like that. So it's pretty horrendously hot. And it's all over the state, but it's all across the South. Now, any of you who watch Ryan Hall, who's the meteorologist who went independent and does his own weather reporting, and he's actually very good at what he does, he's saying we're going to have the El Nino is going to start for about 4 years, and he said it's going to precipitate, or it's going to result in a lot of precipitation. in the southern states. So basically everything that's in the triple digits now, in the winter, it's going to start where we're going to get a lot of moisture, a lot of rain, which at its face sounds great until you realize that if we get a cold front hits that moist front, we're going to get another winter storm like we had a couple of years ago that will kill the grid a little bit. So hopefully not. But again, right now the Austin fire partially contained. They do have extra agencies from other areas out there to help. So hopefully they can get this thing under control. As far as Maui, so we did check with my son and daughter-in-law, but they're on the other island. So right now they're saying they can see the smoke. And part of the problem is there is a hurricane near Hawaii, which ironically, if the thing turned and hit the islands, the force of the winds would actually put out the fire, would basically blow it out, and that's not including rain. But what's happening is it's far enough out that all it's doing is pushing air without rainstorms, and it's actually fanning the flames on Maui. So this morning we checked in with local news in Hawaii, and they were reporting that there were some people who were trying to fight the fire themselves with hoses and whatever they could do. Hey, good morning, Joe. And they were unable to do so, obviously, because this became massive. And people actually ran into the water. So now the Coast Guard and the Coastal Patrol, like the harbor police, and fishermen from the other islands are all going to Maui, and they're basically doing a little flotilla of rescue people. So it's fishing boats, private charter boats, whatever they can get their hands on. They're bringing supplies as volunteers, kind of like what they did during the Dunkirk evacuation, trying to evacuate their fellow citizens, and they're trying to pick them up out of the water because they're running into the water. I think Vision just jumped in. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Vision. How you doing, Trent? Oh, Trent, what's your dog's name? I showed the video to my wife. She's like, oh, he's got a big head. He's going to be huge. Wait, what's his name? I'm like, I have no idea. So, yeah, throw the puppy's name in there. But anyway, it's so hot here in Texas. You must turn your air conditioner on before touching the steering yet. Yes. So, actually, I have the little fart fan window, we call it, back here. I don't know what the purpose is other than to throw beer cans out the back window, but which I don't endorse you doing. But hey, Shorty. But I have to crack that, and then I put the sunshades, and it still gets burning hot in here. I found a covered parking near my office that I can hide my truck in, and I don't have to pay. It's kind of a public/private facility, but they don't mess with me. So I park all the way, like the second to top level where nobody wants to park anyway. And at least I keep my truck out of the sun. But in any case, yeah, his name is Cole. Oh, that's cool. Koal, because he's dark. And that's cool. Unless it means something else. I'm assuming that's just a spin on the word Coal, Cole. He's actually charcoal colored. That's actually a really ingenious name. Yeah, and speaking of dogs, Bentley is in dog jail. Because he apparently decided today was the day to choose violence, and he started fighting everybody. He was having a blast, but he pissed all the other dogs off, and they all went after him. And he's running around with a little ridge on his back and like hi-yahing everyone, so he had to. That was a bit much. He's over a year old, so it's probably about that time, because I'm not going to breed him. I thought about it because he's really a handsome corgi, but we haven't. So yeah, he went to dog jail, and Jackson's in protective custody because he pissed off the alpha also. So basically, all the boys are in their crates, and the girls are loose because the girls actually listen. Jackson listens. He just pissed off the alpha, and she kicked his ass. So it was a very rambunctious day. They woke me up at 3:45, which I was not happy about. That's way too freaking early. I mean, I get up early, but that's too early. So, but yeah, it's super hot out here. The fire in Austin, again, they haven't said it was like, oh, it's arson or it's something evil. I personally believe it's either drunk high school or college kids just before school. They started a fire and couldn't put it out, which has never happened before. Or it could be a homeless camp, right? And they just, hey, Seawolf, what's up? And they just, they lost control or something, and it took off. No fatalities in Austin. Hawaii, they've reported 36 fatalities. Unfortunately, all the houses there are made of wood, and they're embedded into the mountains, right? So if you've been to Hawaii, the houses are built up the sides of some of these mountains, and it's not easy to evacuate from there. It's not a flat drive, right? So if I had to leave my house, once I get out of the subdivision, it's a flat drive in any direction. Hell, if I have to shoot off the lock of one of these oil and gas leases and haul ass through a field, we can do that here. They can't do that there. Like there's literally mountains and gullies and whatnot, and they'll just get hung up. So sadly, 36 people reported dead. There's a bunch missing. They were interviewing one guy who was with his wife. They were trying to fight the fire with the neighbors, right? They had fire extinguishers, hoses, everything. The fire became too big, so they decided to run off. So they grabbed their stuff and fled. And in the smoke, something fell, and they all got separated. And she just screamed to him, hey, meet me at the docks, whatever. And so they all went to the docks, and she didn't show up. So he was on the news saying, if those of you who know me, if you see my wife, please let her know I'm okay. And if you can communicate to me, I'm here. I'd like to know where she is. And that sucks. See that? And that goes, I think Hudson touched on that. Oh, come on, buddy. I see you got your blinker on. Helps if you put it on a little sooner. There we go. It's important not only to have a bug out plan, but also to have a plan that if everything goes down, how are you going to find each other? How are you going to meet each other? I think this is something a lot of us take for granted nowadays, especially the cell phones and whatnot. But it can go south very quickly if you think about it. So, I'm learning a lot watching what they're going through. And it's sad that they're going through it, but it's good for me to see this, because that could happen here in West Texas. That could happen, pretty much anywhere in Texas. It could happen anywhere with y'all. Where Trent is, Vision, it's a lot of water, right? Finding water and putting out fires is easy, but then they flip the whole damn chemical train over in Ohio, right? And then you have a whole nother problem. And even then, if you have to run away, be a lawn tester, you can walk around naked due to the heat. That's okay. Yeah, forgivingly hot. So honestly, we went, so I did that clay shoot the other day, and they have two categories, men and women shooting, and the teams are mixed. They rank them individually. And we know the girls who shoot, they're pretty regular, and everyone wears shorts, and some people wear long sleeve shirts to prevent a sunburn. But nobody wears blue jeans, right? Because that's crazy in 103 degree heat. And one girl was a new shooter, and she showed up in blue jeans and a long sleeve shirt. And granted, she was fair skinned, so maybe she was trying to avoid a burn. And a few of us caught her separately. We're like, hey, look, because she looked awful at the end of the shoot. She didn't look, she way overheated. She was bordering on heat exhaustion. And we got her some water, and there were about 150 people there. It was a good sized shoot. And I was volunteering, so I was watching as the shooters came in to make sure they were okay. And I told her, I said, look, go to 511 or go to Academy and get ripstop pants. Even if you get military surplus, get them a little loose. They breathe and they'll protect your skin from the sun. Don't wear blue jeans out here unless you're working and you require FR jeans. You will overheat. The poor girl, she looked red. She's sunburned anyway. So, but yeah, it is super hot here. So if you're visiting Texas and you're not normally here, to Virginia Bushcrafter's point, I sometimes have to go to remote locations here locally. I could be a 2-hour walk from a highway inside the leases. I always share my location with another person at work. We have an online travel form when we're going to remote locations. It's meant for the convoys, but I can use it too. Oh, 110 of my brothers in San Angelo. Oof. And San Angelo is cooler than the far parts of West Texas because it has the Concho rivers running through it. But still, that's hot as holy heck. Um, but yeah, when I go to remote locations, I'll share my location with other people. Like my wife has my personal location on my personal cell. Um, but on my work cell, I'll put in a convoy notice, a single vehicle convoy. So my safety guy has visibility. Oh, Pete's going to be, in, Andrews County, or he's going to Pecos, or he's going, up to Lubbock, or wherever I'm going. So I have multiple people know where I'm headed. In the event something goes wrong, they know my general location. I also, if I'm going out of town more than a 10-minute drive, I will buy a case of water and leave it in the truck. Now, even if it gets hot, I don't care because it's water, right? Because if I get stuck somewhere, even if they're coming to get me, I may be stuck in a disabled vehicle for 30 minutes to an hour. And you can dehydrate pretty badly in an hour in this kind of heat. So, guys, why are we stopping in the intersection? That's just stupid. You always get the one dumbass who's on the right lane, decides he has to cross 3 lanes to go to the left, does it in the middle of traffic and screws everybody up on both sides. Like, people like that should have their driving license revoked, or they should get a stamp of stupid on his car so that when I see him driving, I'm like, oh, that's a stupid car. I need to keep away from it. But that's just my opinion on stupid people. But yes, a lot of lessons to be learned in this fire. One, having that communication plan, knowing, I think I came by Joe. It's important to have a rally point in an emergency so you know where to find each other. It's important to let people know your route if you're traveling. And I've said this in multiple videos because I travel so much. Because if I know you're coming from Dallas to West Texas, or you're headed from Dallas to El Paso on work, and you break down and nobody knows exactly where you are, I at least in my mind can say, well, the last I checked, they would have been going this route. Because if people don't know the route you're taking, especially in a place like Texas, we'll never find you. Like, literally, we could send 3-4 vehicles out looking for you. We won't find you because we don't know where the hell you went. If we know your general route, so when we evacuated for Hurricane Ike, which was the only one we evacuated for, and I never did that again, that was a fiasco. We told my wife's uncle, who we were going to visit, we were going to stay with him. We told him, hey, we're going to take this highway to this highway and go down to your house. If we don't go that route, we're going to take this alternate route, go through this place and come south. So he kind of knew we were going to be on one of 2 routes. We didn't have any problems. We almost ran out of gas in one of the vehicles, which is why it's important to keep your tank full and also know how much gas your vehicle is going to use up. You know the mileage for your vehicle. Yeah, you can very quickly get in trouble if you don't factor those things in. But yeah, right now, Austin, they're still fighting fire. Maui, it looks like for the most part, the fire is not in control. And I made the same mistake at a shooting range in Seguin. I had a long sleeves hunting wick shirt to prevent the hot cases. See, but you had a wicking shirt, and that's not bad. And people think, oh yeah, you're Spanish, you're brown, you don't get sunburned. I will get the shit burned out of me. I will excuse my French. I sunburned the top of my bald head once, and I was throwing up. I gave myself some kind of sun poisoning. I mean, I threw up whatever I ate for breakfast. It was bad. I never did that again. Hence why you always see me with a hat, because it's just a habit now. I actually keep a boonie hat back there, an old one of the ones from when we deployed for Harvey. It's sitting in the back there. Not fun, but I ignore it. Yeah, and yeah, if you're going outdoors, we leave the shooting shack, which is like the main house where they do the safety briefing. Is it more common for, I've noticed that, is it natural or reason? I have a reason. So actually, when I first hired into the energy sector, we went through driving training, and then my company at the time literally put me through a tactical driving course, which I probably should do a video on because you guys enjoy that. Everything from how to break out of a skid to how to avoid people suddenly trying to block your car while you're trying to leave an area, i.e. 2020, right? And one of the things they told us is always back in. It's not just a military thing, as Cold War points out. It's an OSHA thing, because there are a couple of reasons. One, it's actually easier for me to back in a big vehicle than to go front in, because the turning wheels are in the front and I can kind of swing out. Two, my first move is forward, which means I'm not trying to back up. I can't see kids or whatever behind me. Hey, Pilgrim. I'm looking forward. Three, it's also a safety thing for me, not just for me not hitting someone. Because if I'm in my car and I just parked like I did now, right? I put it in park, my doors are still locked. I can look around this entire level of the parking garage and see who's there. And if I see someone I don't like, I'm putting this puppy in drive and I'm going right back out, or I'm going upstairs or whatever. So it's gotten to the point my daughter still backs in. My sons, well, they're both military now, but they backed in. My son went front in. We had a long driveway in Houston, and he went nose first because he was being lazy. And then he couldn't back a Fiesta out. The stupid little nub, he couldn't back it out. And he dinged it on a tree. I'm like, you're pendejo. I told you to back in. He never did that again. But again, had to learn. It's actually easier once you get used to it to back into spots. So if you go to the malls or go to a store and there's a lot of parking and there are a lot of vehicles, it's so much easier to get in and out if I back in. Probably because she listened to your stories, Joe. This is terrible. Joe's having a blast over there. But folks, look, a lot of lessons in these fires, right? One, have a plan to go somewhere, but also have a plan to meet everyone at a specific place if you don't know where to go. Or if you can't communicate, right? The grid drops, the phones drop, there's an injury, an accident. And random, I actually did a video of driving and safety tips while I was on a family trip in Vegas. It's one of my older videos. I'll try and find it. If you search my travel series on my channel and you go back about a year and a half, it was one of my early videos. And while I was making the video and I'm talking about being in a parking garage and being safe, a bunch of drunk Japanese tourists came out and they go, hello! And then they started talking in Japanese and this big old commotion. And then one of the drunks fell and all the girls were laughing at him. It was about 15 and I could recognize it was Japanese that they were speaking. And it's just hilarious because I'm talking and I start laughing in the video. I'm like, they're all drunk and they were pie-eyed. So if you want to make yourself laugh, find that video. That's a fun one. It's one of my early videos. But folks, look, have a plan. Well, true. Yeah, rescue, absolutely. So that's why I back in to park, because nobody should be in the parking spot, right? I've already looked at it. But if you're trying to back out of a mall into traffic or into people walking around the hallway, parking lot, you're going to hit someone. And then some people, I swear, do it on purpose. They try and get close to your car so you can hit them. I'm in an F-150, so like if somebody gets in front of my truck and I can't stop, I mean, I can argue in court, like, yeah, my vehicle weighs this much, force equals mass times acceleration. That person should not have been there. I mean, I literally could write that equation on the chalkboard in front of a jury, but I prefer not to. But yeah, you should try it. Random, it may take a little bit of practice. It's going to be weird. But once you start learning how to do it, you'll find it so much easier. And especially when you have to unload a hatchback and you have all your groceries back here. Yeah, because you just back up and have everybody waiting. As soon as you park, you pop the back gate and everyone can grab the groceries. But folks, look, a lot of lessons. One, knowing when to bug out or when to stay, important, and it's hard to predict, right? You can't really make a video about something hypothetical like that. Um, Look away, sinners. Nice job, Joe. Two, have a rally point or a meeting place, right? Where do we meet if something happens? I mean, even the guys at Project 214 out here, we've unofficially determined certain places we'll meet. And we were joking and drinking, and we're like, if the Chinese invade us, we should meet either here, either Black Rifle Coffee, or we go to the brewery. And then we voted for the brewery because there's beer and it has big tables. So like, yeah, we can lay out our weapons and, be ready for the communists while we're drinking, which now in hindsight was a really stupid idea, but it sounded good at the time. But have a rally point, have a meeting place, and have an alternate, right? If you're in you got two places, and I'm like, oh, okay, everyone shut up. If Vision and I, and we're all traveling around, and I'm like, hey, we're all in the same area, everyone meet here, and 3 or 4 of us meet here, and somebody doesn't show up, we're like, okay, what's our alternate? Where's the other place we could be? And then you're not searching randomly. That's needle in a haystack. You kind of got 2 points. Because I'll tell you what, hearing that husband say, if anyone sees my wife, please let her know I'm safe, because they got separated in the smoke and the fire and people were running everywhere. And he said we were holding hands, but then she fell. He helped her up, and he told her to run because someone else fell with a baby, and he went to help her. And by the time he turned around, he couldn't see 3 feet. He said, I could not see. I just could hear the water, so I went to the water. And now I can't find my wife, right? That is absolutely possible. Hey, good morning, Sassy. Also, home fires. If you guys worked in an ocean environment, so Cold War was a military guy, but, rescue and vision, any OSHA building, commercial building, has meeting points for fires, the muster points, outside the building in the event of a fire, electrical blackout, something like that. So even having one for the house saying, hey, if there's a fire, get the dogs, get the kids, everyone goes to the front. If you can't get to the front, go in the backyard and, go over the fence to Joe, the neighbor, and just tell him, hey, our house is on fire and we're escaping. Hey, Estatine, what's going on? Having those plans in advance makes life a lot less stressful for everybody. But folks, just some thoughts and a quick update. Okay, grateful, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And as a side note, I actually have multiple fire extinguishers in my house. The kitchen, obviously, the garage, makes sense, and the master bedroom, because someone once pointed out, a firefighter years ago, I learned some cool shit from the firefighters. He said, if you're on a 2-story home, or even if you're not in a 2-story home, but you have kids in another bedroom and a fire breaks out and the fire is between you and your children, 9 out of 10 parents will run through that fire and wind up getting hurt. If you have a fire extinguisher and shoes by your bed, you're not burning your feet, and you can try to make path to get the children out and not burn the crap out of yourself or one of the kids, and you can rescue your dog, whatever. So not a bad thing to have one at the master bedroom and maybe one in the kitchen. And it depends how your house is laid out, right? So my garage is near my kitchen, the way my house is. So I have 2 fire extinguishers, actually 3, because one's hit now in the pantry, within 15 feet of my kitchen. And then I got one in the back of the house. So something to think about. But folks, I'll leave you with that. If I hear any more updates from Austin or from Maui, I will let you guys know. But start thinking about this. This is a great chance for us to learn from what they're experiencing and ask yourself, what would I do if I lose one of my family members? How would I meet them? Where would we make contact? Do we have a relative or a friend who can be our muster point? Hey, if we get lost, we get separated, we're coming to you. And then we'll gather there and then figure out what's next. So guys, you be safe, be careful out there. God bless. And all right, the chat's playing games with me, guys. So if I'm missing anyone's chat, I apologize. Get low and grab the person in front of you and follow the leader. Yes, absolutely. So y'all be safe out there. Be careful. I'm checking the chat, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Hey, Shorty. So yeah, y'all be careful. Be safe. And I'll see y'all later. be good and watch this heat. Remember, hydrate and a little bit of electrolytes is a good idea. And oh, for those of you who are looking for hats or boonies or whatever, 511 has buy one, get one half off. So they're kind of pricey anyway, but if you take the half off, then it's actually normal price. So anyway, just popped up on one of my emails. So in case you're near one of their stores, you can go buy some goodies. All right, be good, guys. Be safe.